podcasting from Innovation Works in downtown London, Ontario, home of the London Knights, the White Rhino, and a million trees. I'm Chelsey, and I'm your host for Mind Your Mind's inaugural podcasting season. Hello and welcome to Mind Your Mind's podcast series. In this episode, we'll be talking to Canadian country band Doc Walker. Doc Walker was formed by two friends from Westbourne, Manitoba in 1996, and they have been sweeping the country music scene ever since. They have released 9 albums and won 13 Canadian Country Music Awards. They are currently nominated for 2 more CCMAs for Group of the Year and for Album of the Year. Mind Your Mind volunteer Taylor got to sit down with them in 2014 and discuss many things, like how they relieve stress, deal with anxiety, and keep grounded. Let's listen in on what they had to say.
After the continuous success that you've had, how do you guys keep yourselves grounded?
Wives. Wife.
One wife each.
Wives and kids. And I think it's because we've been doing it so long that,
it's such a gradual rise too.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Taylor Swift thing where overnight we sold 1 million records.
No.
We kind of took a bunch of baby steps and
our fans keep us grounded too. We've
Yeah.
got a really good relationship with our fans, and we have meet and greets, and they bring us lots of
treats
and stuff. It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of fun.
So what did you guys really realize that music was a career that you guys wanted to pursue?
I was way too young to realize that it was a bad idea.
Well, we had a band together when we were 12.
Really?
So, yeah.
12.
We had a band when we were 12, but it's funny, I can never remember not playing guitar. It was weird. Ever since I've been young, I've been playing guitar. So. Not good, mind you, but...
You'll get there.
I know.
One day. So back then, did you guys not when you were 12, maybe around 17, did you guys realize that you would have so much success over the years?
Honestly, I couldn't picture myself doing anything else, and I had nothing else to really fall back on. And I thought it would be, because when you're young and 17, you think you can do anything, and I thought I could, definitely. And I didn't think it would be this hard.
Yeah, that's been a long road.
So what do you guys do to relieve stress being on the road so much?
On the road or at home?
Either or.
Either or. On the road, it's just stressful a lot. Yeah, the bus rides are fun. I really love fishing and hunting, so I do that when I go home, and kind of seems to clear my head. Cutting the lawn, mowing the grass for me is just, you sit there and just, so for me that's kind of a stress reliever. What about you, Dave?
Well, on the road, just FaceTiming with your family and stuff like that seems to relieve a lot of stress, and it really brings you right back into your own living room in a sense. And we've been on the road for 20 years now, I guess, and it's been, any chance you can get home, even if it's through Facebook or Skype or anything like that, is a really cool thing.
Yeah. So you guys are definitely no stranger to the road after 20 years. So what is the weirdest thing that's ever happened?
Oh,
You have to pick one.
I have to
Pressure's
pick one.
on.
The weirdest thing that's ever happened. I'll let you go.
I don't know.
Could be something that a fan did.
Well, we've had a couple fans drove from Ottawa to Winnipeg to watch a show. That was
Not even Winnipeg. It was a small town, 5 hours
north.
North and west of Winnipeg. So it took them about 33 hours to drive there.
Holy.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
So even with the years of touring and playing shows, do you guys still get nervous before playing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Here and there. Yeah, definitely. I used to suffer from some very high anxiety before getting on stage, especially when I was a kid.
Really?
Where I
didn't know that.
And because I joined your band, and I was like, it's not my band anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the one that's gonna look like a fool. So I made him look like a fool for the last 20 years, and that's really got me through it.
I don't think it's nerves or more excitement. I think you get wound up and you get excited, and that's.
So when you guys do get nervous, how do you cope with the anxiety that comes along
Well,
with that?
I look at set list.
Yeah.
And just sit and go through in my head. I watched a program on sports guys, like I think it was Wayne Gretzky. They were talking about how, he'll sit and sort of plan out before a game what he's going to do. And for some reason we were playing somewhere, and I sat and looked at the set list and thought, this song will be good, playing that one after, and maybe I'll say something like this here. And for me, it kind of prepares myself. And I think the more prepared you are to go and put on a performance, the less nerve-wracking it is. I mean, if you don't know what's going on, then it's pretty nerve-wracking.
So where do you guys find your inspiration for songwriting?
Oh, it comes from everywhere and anywhere. I think when I was a kid, I listened to this Tragically Hip record where he said it was an interview, I guess, with Gord Downey, and he basically just said he's just much more aware of things, and he just kind of opened himself up to be more of aware and let things in rather than letting moments pass by, and really taking like little wee things and making a whole song out of them sometimes.
And I mean, a lot of personal experiences. We're older now, so we have a lot more of those. And we're also storytellers too. I mean, we write songs that have absolutely nothing to do with our lives, but it's just cool being a storyteller.
It's a cool thing about music. So do you guys find that you've grown older and wiser as people, that your music has really grown alongside you?
Oh, for sure. We talk about the records we've made. I think this next one is going to be our 8th record, and we've always taken a step forward, and anytime we think we're going to take a step back, we just reevaluate and take our time and make sure that we are going forward.
Yeah, I think so. I think what we've known or seen over the years, and what's really special for us as artists is seeing your music connect with an audience, and sometimes making differences in people's lives. We've gotten stories about how certain songs have helped people through certain times and certain situations. So I think you have a different sense of responsibility too when you're writing. You're like, you're a little bit more, like Dave says, aware of your surroundings and knowing what the power of music is. So it's good to change it up and also just have fun with it too.
Yeah, for sure. So many people, especially young people, struggle with their mental health. So what advice would you guys give to those young people that are going through tough times?
Well, I think right now, especially with programs like this, is, you're not alone and you can get help. That's for sure. Like back in the 80s and stuff when we grew up, I don't know how much availability there was, and we had lots of friends and things that had mental health issues, and they probably had nowhere to really turn. And now, even with the internet and with Google and with Mind Your Mind, it's pretty great, all the help that's out there.
Yeah.
And being musicians, I think a bit of advice we can give is just pick up a guitar or go play a piano, and it's a good way to spend your time, and it's a good way to express yourself, and in a weird way, it's a good way to get to know yourself.
Yeah,
as a person and as a writer. When you write these lines down and you play this certain sound, it's like, oh, I did that. That's weird. I didn't know I could do that. So you kind of become a little bit more familiar with yourself too.
Mm-hmm. So what helps you guys when you're going through tough times?
Oh, geez. Well, I think we have a strong core of people surrounding us, and we've been pretty lucky with not having jobs forever. I worked at pizza. It was my last job when I was a little boy. And
I think each other, being in a
definitely.
band is a weird thing that I try to explain to my friends. I mean, these guys know more about me than my best friends do, but it's what Nitty Gritty Dirt Band said, your partners, brothers, and friends. So I know anytime, like my mom passed away in 2007, and I mean, it was a really tough thing for me, and it would have been really, really hard had I not have had, the guys in the band. So, I mean, for us, we're lucky enough that we've been around each other so long that we do have that kind of connection.
Yeah, that constant support group.
Yeah.
So off of any album you've released, what's your favorite song? And you have to pick one. Again.
Well, we have an album called Go, and
Yep.
there's a song on it called Go. And we didn't release it, but I always thought that was the best song we've ever written.
I'd have to agree with that one. That's one of my favorite songs that we've ever written. It was hard to write.
It was.
It was really hard to
marathon.
Yeah, but it was one of those ones that was worth it in the end when you listen to it. Why I never went to released, I don't know. We'll have to do that someday.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. So, as a band, you've really made your mark on the music scene, as I mentioned before. So, what advice would you give to an artist that was just starting out on the music scene?
It's all about consistency and longevity and persistence. Just because, man, oh man, if we would have stopped after our first failures, or
Would have stopped a longer.
we would have a long time ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not easy. Overnight success is 7 to 10 years. Nothing comes easy in life. I mean, and just because you see guys like Justin Bieber or girls like Taylor Swift behind the scenes, there's still to get to that point and to get to that sort of talent. They have spent years and years developing it. So
Yeah, well, we met Taylor when she was just this
like 12,
pint-sized
yeah.
little thing.
And she was a good songwriter back then. But I think it's just stick with it and love what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, you're not gonna do it.
I wouldn't have imagined that a country duo as successful as Doc Walker would look forward to cutting the grass when they got home from a long tour. It's always weird what people miss when they're away from home for a long period of time. I know personally, I miss watching the 6 p.m. news. That probably makes me sound really old. I promise you I'm in my early 20s. But following news channels on social media and checking their websites just isn't the same as watching the news. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mind Your Mind's podcast. If you like what you just heard and you found these tips helpful, don't forget to share and subscribe and to visit our website, mindyourmind.ca. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are in the description below. And stay tuned for the next episode where we talk to Alyssa Reed about life as a musician and mental health.